Welcome back to the Airborne Podcast. I'm your host, Ajit. There's no Big Boy Bravs or Thanos on the podcast today. Unfortunately, we're solo doloing it again, but we got to get the news out. The Raptors make another signing, not the sexiest signing once again, but it's a Masai kind of signing, what he's been kind of doing throughout this offseason. We officially signed free agent forward Isaac Bonga out of Germany, and he had a few stints in the NBA. He was the 39th pick in the 2018 NBA draft by the Philadelphia 76ers, but never played a game with them. He played with the Lakers, and he also played with the Washington Wizards. I believe he played a year with the Lakers and 2 years with the Washington Wizards. He got most of his minutes with the Wizards in that injury-riddled season they had a couple seasons ago. Last year, he didn't get as many minutes because the team was healthy. Bradley Beal was healthy. Russell Westbrook was acquired, and they made the playoffs last year, so he didn't see as many minutes. But the previous season, when they were playing for absolutely nothing, he got some valuable minutes. He didn't do the most, but he was born in 1999. He's only a 21-year-old, still a raw talent, and Masai loves to pick up guys like that. And with the developmental program that we have, I believe that these type of players, we're able to mold them into something, make something of them, and make them a valuable piece, on our roster. It hasn't always worked out. One example that can come off the top of my head right now is Bruno Caboclo. We thought he might be the next Giannis because he had that same length, and he was from Brazil, and he could shoot the three, but unfortunately, he was really raw at that time. He was 18 years old, and his basketball IQ wasn't there at that level. So he's become a journeyman in the NBA, but, that was the only mistake I've seen Masai make, as the GM for the Raptors. Ever since then, he's never missed. Really and truly, I can't remember a time he missed. But, with Isaac Bonga, he's a 6'8" forward, 180 pounds. You can see he has a length, kind of has like the body frame of like a Pascal Siakam. And he literally is one of those pieces that fit that positionless basketball mentality, right? Like if you look at our roster right now, that's what Masai is putting together. He's emphasizing positionless basketball. Aside from our guard position, with Malachi Flynn and Fred VanVleet, everyone else is anywhere from 6'5" to 6'10". And I'm not sure if he's going to get valuable minutes with this roster. He can definitely get a roster spot. He's going to be fighting with guys like Ishmael Wainwright, Sam Decker, and then you got Freddie Gillespie, who still is yet to be signed, or his contract is yet to be picked up. And then you got Chris Boucher. He could definitely show some potential and maybe get a roster spot. With Pascal being out with the shoulder surgery and coming back from rehab, he's going to be out for a little bit. So, he can pick up some garbage minutes. For us, we need guys who can shoot the three at a decent rate, but can also play defense at a high level. And those are the type of signings we're making. And every single person that we've picked up to this point, this offseason, is proving to be that kind of player. Sam Decker might be the only one that's kind of maybe iffy on the defensive end, but his three-point shooting in Turkey has definitely elevated from his time in the NBA, going from 29% to 45%. I mean, why not take a shot? It's a win-win situation. You're not losing anything out of it. All these signings that we're making are probably partially guaranteed contracts. So they're going to be competing for a roster spot, and it'll be fully guaranteed, I believe, when the season starts. Isaac Bonga, he has a long name that I'm trying to pronounce here. I apologize in advance if I butcher it, but it's Isaac Evelu Etu Bofenda Bonga. Born on November 8th, 1999, a German professional basketball player, and his natural position coming into the NBA was a small forward. But you know how small forwards are used these days in the NBA. They can play small forward, power forward, or even center. And Chris Boucher, Pascal Siakam, OG Anunoby, those guys, you've seen them last season and even the years before, them playing all three positions. It's more OG and Pascal that played those three positions, but Chris Boucher has got some time at the center and the power forward position. due to his length. Man, our zone defense is going to be crazy with all this length. It's going to be fun to watch. I'm excited, even though we're not contending for a championship, and I know we're going to be a bottom tier playoff team at best. I can really see this team causing a lot of havoc to other teams, especially, on the defensive end. We probably won't make a lot of threes, or probably won't be that great on offense. We're going to rely a lot more on Malachi Flynn, Fred VanVleet, and Gary Trent Jr. But defense, I'm excited about 100%. With Isaac Bonga, he made his debut on December 7, 2018, playing a total of 1 minute and 7 seconds against the San Antonio Spurs. He was on the Lakers at first, and then he got traded in a 3-team trade to the Washington Wizards. And he averaged 5 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 1.2 assists per game in his first year in the 2019-2020 season. That was the injury-riddled season for the Washington Wizards, where Bradley Beal was basically out, and the Wizards were playing for absolutely nothing. And he was able to, get some proper minutes and kind of develop, even though he's still raw. I mean, the man's only 21 years old, like I mentioned. And then last season, in the 2020-2021 season, he averaged 2 points, 1.7 rebounds, and 0.6 assists per a game. But I see the reason why he didn't get those minutes like he did the previous year was because they got the lottery pick in Rui Hachimura. And they traded John Wall, who was injured for a couple of seasons, for Russell Westbrook. And Bradley Beal came back healthy. And then they had another rookie in Denji, I believe his name is, or Deji. I can't remember exactly what his name is, but he was a high lottery pick as well. So they had all this talent. So, they had a lot of talent in the forward positions. They also signed Davis Bertans. So he didn't see any minutes this past season. It's unfortunate. And that's why we were able to grab him off Washington's hands this season, because he's a free agent. And they were going to sign him because they just traded Russell Westbrook to the Los Angeles Lakers and grabbed 3 forwards in KCP, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Kyle Kuzma, and Montrezl Harrell, who are also playing positionless basketball. So you can see why he didn't return with the Washington Wizards. But yeah, this is Masai's thing. He likes to get these young, raw talents, and it's kind of like a project for him to see if they have the basketball IQ to match the natural gifts that they come with in terms of their length. Obviously, the shooting is something that they can develop over time, but it sometimes works, sometimes it doesn't. For us so far, in terms of the people that we're signing or picking up, like OG Anunoby, very good on the defensive end, decent on the three-point shooting. Pascal was horrible last season from the three-point arc, but really good on the defensive end. Scotty Barnes, I mean, he's got the length. He could be a defensive menace more times than not, but his weakness is his shooting. And same with these guys, like Ishmael Wainwright. He's known for his defense. Can he shoot? Probably. I mean, these guys can develop, because PJ Tucker, for example, was not the greatest three-point shooter. I don't even think he took threes at the beginning of his career. Then he went overseas. He developed a three-point shot, and then he came back. And look what he was doing for Phoenix. Look what he's doing for Houston. Won a championship with Milwaukee this season. Didn't shoot the three that well with Milwaukee, but he was known for his corner threes with Houston. And, he made a name off it, made some money off of it, and now you can call him an NBA champion. So, with guys that are this young, there's a lot of time to grow, especially when we're going the direction of a young nucleus. And, we're not competing for a championship. We don't have the luxury that we did a few years ago when we were able to develop a young talent in Pascal, Fred VanVleet, Norman Powell, and also compete for a championship when we traded DeMar DeRozan and Jakob Poeltl for Kawhi Leonard and Danny Green. So, I mean, this is more of like a work in progress, and maybe it'll pay off in about 4 or 5 years. We're not sniffing a championship anytime soon with Brooklyn, with the Brooklyns of the world, the Milwaukees, the Los Angeles Lakers, the Clippers. Like, we're not going to sniff a conference finals We could probably make it to the second round, maybe in a year or two, but more than likely this season, we're not going to make the playoffs. If we do, I'm ecstatic for it because whoever plays us in the first round is going to get, we're going to piss the fuck, we're going to piss them the fuck off. But yeah, with Isaac Bonga, the first year, I believe he played 22 games in the 2018-2019 season with the Lakers, 66 games with the Washington Wizards in the 2019-2020 season, and then 40 games last year in the 2020-2021 season. And we'll see. We'll see. I'm excited. Not that excited, but, you know, the length with all these players and on the defensive end is very intriguing to me because they're going to be able to cover so much ground, and especially with the zone defense, because, you know, zone defense is all about covering the inside and then kind of going out to contest. But with the length that these guys have, they're going to make so many teams feel uncomfortable. It's going to be fun to watch. But yeah, I appreciate everyone for tuning in and checking out the video. If you haven't liked the video, make sure you like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, make sure you subscribe to it. What are y'all waiting for? Stop slacking, bro. And we'll be back. If there's any more signings in free agency, any more pickups, any more trades, you know, the Raptors haven't been the most exciting team this offseason, but, you know, well, it'll be fun to see how this team kind of, you know, comes together and the chemistry they build throughout the year. And the most exciting part is we're finally fucking back in Toronto, more than likely. I mean, we've been away from Toronto since March 11th of 2020. I mean, we were on the road too. Like that last game we played was in Utah. We were on a West Coast trip. So we were out of Toronto for a long time now. It's been over a good year and a half. So it's gonna be refreshing to see all these players come back to Toronto and embrace that crowd, and the crowd embrace them. And hopefully Spicy P doesn't Beyblade his way out of the arena, and he comes back and gets back to being his old self, the real Spicy P, the one that was dropping career highs, 44 points on the Phoenix Suns, the Washington Wizards, getting buzzer beaters against Philly and Phoenix. Like, I want to see that Spicy P back. And I feel like him and a lot of the other players, especially the rookie Scotty Barnes, are going to feed off the crowd so much. The crowd missed them so much. Toronto missed them. Jurassic Park missed the Toronto Raptors, and we're going to show that when the season begins. But yeah, till then, stay blessed, stay woke, and please stay safe. Peace!
Yeah, 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 yeah. The price I want for sure you gon' need.